Hello friends, my name is Dr. Huma Hassan and today I have brought highly interesting topic in our UPSC Sociology syllabus, that is Sociology and Common Sense. With these two fundamental concepts which I have just spoke, Sociology and Common Sense. Here we must apply our common sense to understand how there is very important relationship between these two concepts. Sociology means scientific study of society. Aspirants, please focus on the term scientific. That means we are trying to understand society and how social groups are interacting with different social institutions. Social institutions means how we are creating marriage, religion, politics, economy, and how we are creating society in which individuals, diverse social groups are living together without having major conflicts, maintaining social order. Whereas common sense is a gift to humans. We know that when we have reached to the stage called in the process of human evolution, so when we reach to the stage called Homo habilis means intellectual men. That means that when we have evolved from Australopithecines to Homo erectus, and in this process where we have become Homo sapiens sapiens, Homo habilis was the first stage where humans have started having very sharp thought process. With the ability of his you can say the development which was happening in his brain, our brain capacity was increasing, Broca Wernicke area must be developing, hand dexterity was improving, opposable thumbs were developed, and all those features, those biological features which had been developed in this new species called Homo habilis. That means that we have become intelligent. Now, in order to survive, humans can develop tools. So, this is a common sense which is gifted to humans. So, in this process, when we have come to this modern stage, that means that humans have always had this gift to think and contemplate. Then we must have certain common sense understanding to understand our society. For instance, when I was born, I do not have to read any book. I do not have to read great classical sociologists or anthropologists or political scientists or Aristotle and all. I do not have to read anything to understand that I have certain identity which is given to me by my family. I did not require anyone who was telling me that this is my nation. I did not have to have anyone who was telling me that this is my religion or this is how I have to behave. This much common sense understanding we all humans possess. So if we have this much common sense, we do have certain level of understanding to understand our society, to understand different social institutions, to understand customs, norms and all. Why do we require sociology then? As we know that sociology is the youngest discipline and it is referred as queen of all other subjects or disciplines. That means sociology, which seems so common, it's not that common. And often aspirants do feel this and they take their optional sociology thinking, applying their common sense that in sociology we do have to read only marriage, family, kinship, social change, education as social change, family institutions. We are trying to read communalism apart from social thinkers or research methods, and paper 2 is all about Indian society. So it's a very schooling subject and it's going to be easy. Let's read it. This is a common myth. This is a common I would say, a myth by which most of the aspirants take sociology. I do agree that yes, it is easiest subject or easiest optional to understand, but only if you have got or developed sociological understanding. In order to understand all this common sense phenomenon which we see, which we have, by which we have grown up, right? We have grown up with the institution of family, we have grown up with the institution of religion and marriage and politics, economy. Yes, we do not require, much contemplation to understand these institutions in order to sustain. However, when we are reading sociology, and that too for our optional, we need to understand the subject demand of sociology. What is sociology? And here often aspirants get confused because it is a scientific discipline. Here we are reading about all this phenomenon of society by applying methods. It is not on the base of our common beliefs. So sociology is not that common which we often believe. As I said, that it is easy to grasp, but I believe it's very hard to articulate your understanding. Sociology is one discipline in this optional in the optional of UPSC, where if you have understood this subject, it is going to help you from your essay paper till your personality test. All you have to understand how to understand and write your ideas in writing. For instance, I would believe that thinkers part are the most difficult part in entire sociology syllabus. I can explain, for example, that Karl Marx is talking about commodification of society. Karl Marx is talking about class struggle, mode of production. This is a content. This is content which is available in market free, and I say that not every content is bad. All the contents are, all the content which is available good, but we do not have to blindly rely on them. But the idea is that once you understand this concept, you have to articulate in your own words, in your own understanding. And there, when you start understanding that, okay, this is something you have to write on your own, you need to express your ideas by your own writing skills, that will improve your answer skills too. So in sociology, you need to understand the concepts, and then you have to write in your original ideas. And when you are writing in your original ideas, you are improving holistically for UPSC preparation. Now, so what is sociology and what is common sense? So I would say that sociology understands our world by scientific methods, and sociology do study all these common sensical phenomena which is a very much part of our daily life, such as family, marriage, kinship, economy, polity, social cultural life, everything which we see. So these are very common sense, we all know about this, but we read it with investigations. So if I am saying that in maintaining social stability in society, the most fundamental aspect is economical institution, and this economical institution is widely responsible for major social changes in society, I cannot say it by my own thought process or by my own commonsensical understanding. So if I am making a theory, if I am saying something that yes, economical institution or economical mode of production is the most important part which shapes other social structures of our society, I have to prove that. I have to say that this is how I can claim my theory to be scientific. This is what even Karl Marx have done in his theory of historical materialism. So, his understanding that economy is very important indeed coming from common sense only. Because if I am living in a world, I am making a group for hunting and gathering. Because it is, if I am talking about the primitive society, because it is not possible in the primitive stage, primitive hunting stage, that I can hunt these big animals. So definitely I require other other humans with me so that we can do hunting and gathering and survive. This is very common. I do not require scientific understanding this. But taking this part, Karl Marx have given us a very important theory called historical materialism. We all know in order to survive, we all have to work, right? We need to get engaged in certain type of occupation. So today I am going to explain that our understanding of economical institution, which is so very common, okay, how it has come up. So today I am going to explain that how there is a interrelationship between sociology and common sense with the help of Karl Marx, and this is what we have to do, okay, in our papers as well. So first of all, we have to understand that we all know economical activities are imperatives for human survival. Okay? So this is common sense. For this, we do not have to read any book. We do not have to read any books to understand that in order to survive, we need to engage in certain kinds of economical activities. But how this economical activities is shaping our world, and it is the most fundamental part in bringing major social changes in the world, has been a various, I would say, has been a focal point of various sociologists, and all major classical sociologists have reflected on this part. So how commonsensical understanding is shaping sociological discipline, it's very important. So this is a common sense, as I repeat, again I am repeating that economical activities is very fundamental for human survival. Let's just say what Karl Marx have explained with this commonsensical understanding, and how this commonsensical understanding is now becoming sociological in nature. So Karl Marx, in his very important work of historical materialism, he is simply saying that in the evolution of society, human organization or human groups, you can say, are always involved in some sort of economical activities. For Karl Marx, primitive society in which we were hunter and gatherer we were engaged in which type of economical activities? Hunting and gathering. And according to Karl Marx, this was the most important egalitarian society. There was no discrimination, there was no inequalities. So, here we are analyzing economical institution that in order to survive, we have to hunt and gather. And now from this, we are attaching a very important component of society, that is social stratification. We are trying to understand that there was no discrimination, there was no inequality in the first stage. However, when we have started, you can say when we have got evolved and when we have started having some sort of positions, okay, Asiatic society in which the mode of production was agriculture, okay. So when we have evolved and we have become, you can say, Asiatic society in which in order to survive we were engaged in agricultural production, there we have developed inequality. And here he has given another important concept of class struggle. For Karl Marx, society is always divided into two classes, that is have and have not. So, those who have control over agricultural resources, they were enjoying this world more, and so they are like, you can say, lord, and there are other group who have not having, who doesn't have any control over means of production, that is agriculture, so they are being exploited. Alright, so there is like master and slave. Then further we have got, you can say, feudal society. In feudal society, again, the mode of production was agriculture, but then there was two class, feudal and peasants, that is serfs. Here the mode of production, the way we can survive, we have to engage in agriculture production. And then the next stage is industrial society. You know, after agricultural society, we turn into a large scale industries. So in the industrial society, we have two class, that is, you can say, we have workers and we have capitalists. So, in order to say that economical institution is the most vital aspect of society which brings inequality, equality, which shapes other cultural aspects, Karl Marx have given his theory which is scientifically proved. So here we need to understand that yes, common sense is very important to build our sociological understanding. But when we are talking about society in a scientific manner, we cannot formulate theories on the basis of our beliefs or on the basis of our preconceived notions. For instance, if I am saying that today the divorce rate is increasing in developing countries like India, I cannot say it by viewing only my immediate society or locality. I need to do a research. I need to prove my point, and that is how my understanding will become sociological. This is a fundamental reality you must see when you are writing your answer. Often aspirants, what they do, they explain sociology, they explain common sense, but they fail to show interconnection. So how you have to understand what is sociology and common sense? Explain sociology. Say that sociology is a scientific study, whereas common sense is based on our common beliefs, customs, which is a normal product of all humans. So when we are making theory and proving it, it becomes sociological. And when we cannot prove our theories and it is just based on our own notions, that is common sense. Okay? So let's just see here. What is the important part you can see? So common sense is not always common nor sensible. Common sense does not always accurately predict reality. People need something else. Okay? And sociology is the method of inquiry that requires the systematic testing of beliefs against evidence. Okay? So you can say that common sense is a routine knowledge. So common sense is a routine knowledge that people have of their everyday world and activities. It is usually based on naturalistic and individualistic explanation, which we have taken for granted. Now, when you are trying to write your answer, you need to quote some thinkers. So Peter Berger, in his book Invitation to Sociology, he says that one must debunk what is there in common sense. So whatsoever we see, they are not that common. We need to understand, we need to debunk. Similarly, we have another thinker. So three thinkers, I would say, are very important when we are explaining about how sociology and common sense are different. So Peter Berger work, Invitation to Sociology. Then we have Seward Mill's work, Sociological Imagination. Also we have Zygmunt Bauman, Thinking Sociologically. So these are important, I would say, thinkers which you should quote in your work, which you can see here, right? And then you need to define it with a good content, okay? So sociology uses logic and reason. Common sense uses conjectures and stereotypical beliefs. The common sense views are based upon the images that get reinforced through tradition in socialization process. Sociological knowledge challenges this tradition and stereotypes. So we'll look beyond this commonsensical understanding. Okay. So these are some of the points which you can see here. Empirical testing does not have any value in commonsensical knowledge, whereas in sociological knowledge we can only make theories after we have went under the process of research and investigation. Okay. So common sense, basically you can say, helps sociologists in hypothesis building. So this is a very important relationship between sociology and common sense. Then you will say the common sense provides raw data for sociological imagination. It tends to answer questions generated from common sense knowledge. So common sense is helpful for sociologists to understand their society. Then you can quote more thinkers. So we have Anthony Giddens. So Anthony Giddens also says that sometimes sociological knowledge also becomes a part of common sense knowledge. So here Anthony Giddens simply means that sometimes we make theories, we do a research, but it is just a part of common sense understanding. It cannot come under the category of sociological knowledge. So this is what he says, and this was his work. So when you are quoting a thinker, it is also advisable to quote thinker's book name. It will fetch you more marks, I would say. Depends totally on UPSC. Definitely I cannot say that. So, but I think this is a race, this is a competitive examination, and here only those will win who are going to produce original ideas, who has that creative skills, because writing is an art. All this understanding which I am saying, there must be multiple ways to express the same knowledge with your own ideas. You do not have to quote the example which you are reading in your books. You do not even have to quote all those points which we are reading in our content and making our notes. What you people have to do? Craft the knowledge, have the conceptual clarity, and give your own ideas. Give your own examples. Okay, so this is what you people have to do with respect to sociology and common sense. So here I have given some more thinkers' name. For example, this is Erving Goffman. He is a very important, you would say, phenomenologist, interactionist, who is telling us that how we behave in this world. So this is what he had given. So his work is the presentation of self in everyday life, right? And then we have ethnomethodologists and all that. So I am just trying to say that how you people can talk about how you can produce a very good and original ideas, okay? After building good clarity over that what is common sense, what is sociology, you need to produce good content as well. And then you can take any topic. For example, Antonio Gramsci is talking about power and common sense, and he says that, hegemony is something in the values and the fact the society takes it for granted. This is a common sense. Hegemony is there, and it's a common sense, but we have to understand in a sociological manner. Okay? So, we can say that knowledge that relies on common sense is not always reliable. Sociologists must test and analyze each piece of information and that they use. Then you must write something, similarities between sociology and common sense. Okay? I'm just giving you an idea how you can really make good answers. Then when you are talking about similarities, then you should also talk about difference between sociology and common sense. And then you can just explain sociology and common sense interaction. Okay? So sociology is a discipline which objectively search for interconnection among different domains of society, and it is systematic use of by using comparison. Okay? So sociology studies the common people in society and the common sense concepts like religion, economics, politics, caste, dowry, domestic violence. But how? But with the help of research and investigation. So here I like to conclude that sociology and common sense has a very integrative and very important relationship. Both are important and both complements each other in order to understand society better. So guys, if you like my video, subscribe to my channel, hit the bell button and post your good comments. I mean, you are free to make any comments. So this is it for today. For next time, we are going to come up and bring another topic that will be going to come from topic 2, research and methods. So thank you so very much. Take care.